Hello and welcome to Math Matters. Why do I need to know this? It's a show where we take the entry-level mathematics that we teach in our general ed courses and our teacher ed courses and try to show you how that's applicable to everyday life. I've got a few neat examples for you today. I'm going to start out by kind of harping on an old topic, and that is credit card debt. I know I'm kind of on my soapbox about this, but I can't tell you how important it is for young people to spend their money wisely and not run up this huge credit card debt. And in the effort of convincing you on this, I'm going to show you an example today. I want to talk about what something actually costs. You know, you may buy something on sale, but you put it on a credit card where you're carrying a balance. And what ends up happening there is that you end up paying a lot more for the item than you thought you were paying. And I just want to take you through the mathematics of that and show you, actually show you how much you're paying on something. Bottom line is a good deal. It is not going to be a good deal if you end up paying more for it because of that credit card balance. And we've explained the credit card idea before, but if you've not seen it before, let's go through the ground rules of using credit cards. As long as you pay off your balance at the end of the pay period, you're not going to pay any interest. It's almost like having an interest-free loan for that period of time. However, there's a large segment of our population who does carry a balance on a credit card, and when that happens, you will have to pay a finance charge. And that is, you take the monthly interest rate, that's the annual divided by 12, and you multiply that by the average daily balance. And what they do is they take the balance at the end of each day in the pay period, average them up, and that amounts to, it's equivalent to paying interest per day on what you owe. At the end of that pay period, you'll have what's called a minimum payment. Now typically that's 4% of the balance, or $10, whichever is bigger. There is another option. If you owe less than $10, you'll just pay off the balance. You won't have to pay $10 over what you owe. But you will have to make this minimum payment, and that's more than the finance charge. That's important too, because otherwise you'd never pay this card off at all. Okay? Now, I'm going to make some little assumptions here for what I'm getting ready to do with you. I'm going to assume that our purchase is part of a larger balance. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can use the big, if I buy an item, it's not the only thing on my card. That way I can use the big balance kind of rules, and it will take me longer to get to the point where I'm just paying like $10 each month. Okay? I'm not going to get into this daily average balance thing on this example. I'm just going to simply assume that we make the purchase early in the pay period, and so we have to pay a full month's interest on it. And that simplifies things greatly. And I'm also going to assume that I'm not adding to the balance, that I've stopped using the card. If I make additional purchases, well, that lengthens the amount of time it takes me to pay it off, and therefore the amount that my item actually costs would be greater than what I'm calculating. So I'm giving you the best case scenario here. When you see this answer, you say, well, that's the best I could have done. All right, here's the example. Let's say you pay $100 for a pair of boots. It's been a while since I bought a pair of boots. I assume that's probably a reasonable price for a decent pair of boots. You got them 25% off, and they were just darling, or they just rocked, dude. I mean, depending on your perspective there. But let's say you've got a credit card that you pay for the boots with. You pay $100. And your credit card has a 15% APR. That's the annual percentage rate. And after that purchase, you decide to just start making the minimum payment each month. Okay? Well, few little things we got to get out of the way. We've got to calculate the monthly interest rate. You take the annual interest rate divided by 12. The finance charge in the nth month. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of doing a continuous model, I'm just going to say, okay, take the previous month's balance, that's what I mean by B sub n, the balance from the previous month, and then multiply by this monthly rate. The product of that will be the finance charge. Okay? So I'll have to add that in at the end of each month. And then I have to calculate the minimum payment. Now it's typically going to be this. It's going to be whatever I just, here's the previous balance, I add the finance charge to it, and then I pay 4% of that. I'll say 50 cents if it's bigger than this. Now, the reason I'm saying 50 cents instead of $10 is I'm assuming that this is part of a larger balance that you owe. Maybe it's like 5% of your balance. So this would the part of that $10 payment you would make, I'm assuming this is like 5% of that $10. So, and that's just an assumption. And if the balance is less than 50 cents, then we'll just pay it off. That's the last option. Okay, so here is the balance at the end of the nth month. You take the previous one, add in the finance charge, and subtract the minimum payment. And I've plotted for you here the balances over a period of time. These are months down here. It actually takes 99 months to pay off that pair of boots, that $100 pair of boots, which a little quick calculation divided by 12 will tell you that's 8¼ years. That's a long time to be paying on boots. You've probably worn them out by then. And what I have done here is actually gone and calculated, I've added all these things up, all these finance charges up. And you end up paying $41.13 in finance charges on that $100 pair of boots. Now a good question would be, so you end up paying $141.13 for them. What was the original price? Well, I got them 25% off, so 75% of the full amount was $100. Divided by 0.75, they started out at $133.33. So I've ended up actually paying more for the boots than I would have paid at full price if I'd waited till they went off sale. Okay? Now, I do want to close with one comment about this. This business of paying 4% interest on the, or 4% of the balance for your minimum payment is new. Federal government, realizing that a lot of people were in a lot of debt, said, if you with the balance minimum payment being about 2%, which is what it used to be, it's taking people forever to pay off their cards. So they've been prodding the insurance companies to come through and to raise their minimum balances up to 4%. If this had happened back when it was 2%, I just want to show you the math of that real quick. I won't do the formula with you again, but I will show you the table that's generated, okay, the plot of the balances. Okay, if you see here, it lasted way longer than 100 or 99 months. It's out here at about 230 months. That is getting close to 20 years. 20 years to pay on a pair of boots is ridiculous. Those boots are out of style badly. They may be back in style by then. And if you add up the finance charges, you've paid $129.28 in finance charges. That means you paid $229.28 for that pair of boots. Unbelievable. Okay, so be very careful with those kind of purchases. I've got some summary pages here that recap what I just talked about, and I'll get set up for the next segment.